In a cataclysmic turn of events that has sent shockwaves reverberating through the hallowed halls of Westminster and beyond, Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner finds herself ensnared in a scandal so monstrous, so utterly seismic, that it threatens to reduce her once towering political legacy to ashes. A woman who rose from the gritty streets of Stockport to the pinnacle of power, Rayner has long been revered as a paragon of working-class grit, a beacon of hope for the downtrodden. Yet now, that carefully burnished image lies in tatters, shredded by a torrent of allegations that paint her as a master of deception, a manipulator of democracy, and a figure embroiled in personal betrayals so lurid they defy belief. Leaked documents, a vengeful ex-husband, and whispers of a clandestine affair with Labour leader Keir Starmer have converged into a perfect storm of controversy, leaving the nation agog and her career dangling by a thread. As the fires of public outrage blaze and her enemies circle like vultures, one question echoes through the chaos. Can Angela Rayner defy the odds and emerge from this inferno unscathed, or is this the twilight of a political titan? Before we descend into the abyss of this electrifying saga, I beseech you, esteemed reader, to join the vanguard of truth seekers by subscribing to our channel and unleashing your voice in the comments below. The stakes are astronomical, the revelations earth-shattering, and your participation is the lifeblood of this crusade for justice. Do not stand idly by as the powerful weave their webs of deceit. Hit that subscribe button now, and ensure you're on the front lines of this unfolding epic. Share your fury, your suspicions, your demands for accountability, for together we shall ignite a reckoning that will echo through the annals of history. The time is now. Subscribe, comment, and let the world hear your roar. The genesis of this political earthquake lies in a revelation so staggering it could rewrite the very narrative upon which Angela Rayner has staked her claim to greatness. For decades, she has cloaked herself in the mantle of authenticity, presenting herself as a humble home care worker who toiled tirelessly from 2000 to 2015 to uplift the vulnerable souls of Stockport. It was a story that resonated deeply with the British public, a tale of resilience, of sacrifice, of a woman who understood the aching struggles of the common citizen because she had lived them. Yet, in a twist that rivals the darkest of thrillers, leaked documents from Stockport Council have emerged like a dagger from the shadows, casting grave doubt upon this cherished fable. These records, if authentic, suggest that Rayner's employment history is not the bedrock of truth she has proclaimed, but a flimsy edifice of falsehoods teetering on the edge of collapse. The implications of this bombshell are nothing short of apocalyptic. Why, one must ponder with a mixture of dread and fascination, would a politician of Rayner's caliber stake her reputation on so brazen a lie? Was it a desperate bid to endear herself to the electorate, to cement her credentials as a champion of the working class? Or does this deception hint at a deeper, more sinister pattern of duplicity that has yet to be fully unveiled? Her entire political identity, her relatability, her moral authority, rests upon the authenticity of her roots. Should this foundation crumble, the fallout could be catastrophic, exposing her as a fraud masquerading as a savior. The opposition has seized upon this chink in her armor with ferocious glee, with Conservative MPs baying for an immediate investigation into her past and Reform UK's indomitable Nigel Farage branding her a disgraceful charlatan whose resignation is the only path to redemption. The air in Westminster crackles with tension, as the nation braces for a showdown that could redraw the battle lines of British politics. Into this maelstrom steps Mark Rayner, Angela's estranged ex-husband, whose sudden ascent from obscurity has transformed this scandal into a melodrama of Shakespearean proportions. His role is a riddle wrapped in an enigma, a volatile fusion of conflicting loyalties and devastating disclosures that have set the political world ablaze. In a bombshell interview with the fearless Isabel Oakeshott, Mark has unleashed a fusillade of allegations so explosive they threaten to obliterate his former wife's credibility beyond repair. Chief among these is the jaw-dropping claim that Angela Rayner engaged in a steamy, illicit affair with Labour leader Keir Starmer, a liaison so scandalous it could detonate the party's leadership and leave its moral compass shattered in the wreckage. Mark asserts that he stumbled upon the pair locked in a moment of undeniable passion, a revelation that, if corroborated, would plunge Labour into a vortex of ignominy from which it might never recover. Yet, the enigma of Mark Rayner deepens with every passing hour. Is he a heartbroken soul, lashing out in anguish at a marriage that crumbled under the weight of ambition? Or is he a calculating saboteur, orchestrating a vendetta to ensure Angela's downfall with surgical precision? Reports of recent encounters between the former spouses, marked by tempestuous arguments, tearful reconciliations, and fleeting moments of tenderness, only thicken the plot. Could this be a bizarre gambit for reconciliation, a desperate attempt to reclaim what was lost amid the rubble of their past? Or is it a cunning ploy to lure Angela into a false sense of security, only to strike the fatal blow when she least expects it? Whatever his true intent, Mark's leaks have dealt a grievous wound to Angela's standing, rendering her efforts to extinguish the flames of this scandal as futile as a whisper in a hurricane. The nation watches, transfixed, as this personal saga metastasizes into a political catastrophe of unparalleled magnitude. Beyond the salacious whispers of infidelity lies an accusation so heinous it strikes at the very soul of Britain's democratic ideals: electoral manipulation. Critics allege that Angela Rayner, in her capacity as Deputy Prime Minister, wielded her formidable influence to postpone local elections in 9 Conservative-controlled councils, regions where Reform UK was poised to storm the barricades and claim historic victories. Nigel Farage, ever the lightning rod of populist fury, has denounced this manoeuvre as a blatant desecration of the people's sacred right to choose, while Shadow Housing Secretary Kevin Hollinrake has excoriated Rayner for cloaking her lust for power in the flimsy guise of administrative necessity. Rayner's camp counters that these delays were an unavoidable byproduct of council restructuring and ambitious devolution efforts, but their protestations falter beneath the weight of such suspiciously impeccable timing. Could this be the irrefutable proof that Rayner placed her political survival above the sanctity of the democratic process? The public's reaction has been swift and volcanic, a groundswell of indignation that threatens to engulf Rayner in its fiery embrace. From the cobblestone streets of provincial towns to the gleaming towers of London, voices rise in unison, demanding a full and unflinching investigation into her actions. Opponents argue that her conduct lays bare the hollow hypocrisy of Labour's rhetoric, its lofty promises of decentralisation and empowerment reduced to ashes by a leader willing to twist the rules for her own gain. If these allegations hold water, Rayner's legacy could be forever tainted, not as a trailblazer for the marginalised, but as a ruthless pragmatist who trampled democracy underfoot to preserve her grip on power. The tension is palpable, the stakes astronomical, and the nation stands on the precipice of a reckoning that could reshape the political landscape for generations. As the storm rages unabated, a singular, haunting question emerges from the chaos like a spectre cloaked in shadow. Must Angela Rayner surrender her crown and retreat into the annals of disgrace? Her defenders, a beleaguered yet defiant legion, rally to her side, decrying this scandal as a vile conspiracy hatched by her enemies to cripple Labour's momentum ahead of the next general election. They insist that her personal indiscretions, however tawdry, should not overshadow her litany of achievements, from bolstering social programmes to championing the disenfranchised. The timing of these revelations, they argue, reeks of orchestrated malice, a calculated strike designed to hobble a titan at the peak of her influence. Yet, their pleas are drowned out by a crescendo of dissent, as adversaries and ordinary citizens alike clamour for her head on a platter, their patience exhausted by a parade of leaders stained by scandal. Rayner now stands at a crossroads, her destiny poised on a razor's edge. Can she summon the fortitude to withstand this relentless barrage, to claw her way back from the brink and reclaim her mantle as a force for good? Or will the sheer weight of these accusations, dishonesty, corruption, betrayal, crush her ambitions beneath an avalanche of public scorn? The repercussions of this saga will extend far beyond Rayner herself, casting a pall over the Labour Party and its claim to ethical supremacy. As the nation holds its breath, riveted by every twist and turn, one truth emerges crystalline and unassailable. The Angela Rayner scandal is a crucible that will test the resilience of Britain's political elite, and the judgment of history looms large on the horizon. The fallout from this unparalleled crisis continues to unfurl with relentless ferocity, each day bringing fresh revelations that stoke the flames of controversy. Angela Rayner, once a towering figure of inspiration, now stands as a lightning rod for division, a symbol of both resilience and ruin. Her supporters cling to the hope that she can weather this tempest, emerging stronger and more resolute than ever. Her detractors, meanwhile, see in her downfall a chance to purge the political sphere of yet another figure corrupted by ambition. The Labour Party, caught in the crossfire, faces a reckoning of its own, its unity fraying as factions jostle for dominance amid the chaos. As the calls for an official inquiry grow deafening and the spectre of resignation looms ever larger, Angela Rayner's fate hangs in a precarious balance. The explosive claims of her ex-husband, the damning whispers of electoral tampering, and the lurid tales of personal misconduct have coalesced into a narrative so gripping, so utterly astonishing, that it has captivated the nation's imagination. Whether she can defy the odds and salvage her career, or whether this marks the ignominious end of a once promising ascent, remains an enigma wrapped in uncertainty. One certainty endures: the reverberations of this scandal will echo through the corridors of power for years to come, a cautionary tale of hubris, betrayal, and the unrelenting scrutiny of a public pushed to its limits.